So before you're like,
Oh my god, you are one ungrateful, spoiled child.
they sacrificed everything for you, I would give my parents my left arm and everything for them. But you also need to understand, have you broken the Asian matrix?
To see it affects your friendships and awful, man.
Like I just felt like no one heard me. And so that's why I learned to act out.
I'm an adult. I was really trying to separate myself from that control. You do the thing where you had to hold the chair over your head?
Yeah, no, we did books.
I'm going to walk you through exactly how and why we as a generation, specifically first generation, how we're so messed up.
No even reason why.
No reason why. There's no voice, right? And I just had to take it.
So growing up, I thought I had a really messed up childhood. Until I found YouTube, I realized that other people had similar traumas to the things that I had growing up.
Relationship they have with their parents. And I never had that.
So let's talk about them. And yes, I know there are exceptions and people that have very secure and liberated parents that let their children do whatever it is that they want as long as they're happy. But for me, that was never the case. So the biggest problem with having Asian parents, immigrant parents, is that there is two schools of thought. First, coming from an Asian immigrant background, there is the collectivism mindset. This is not so much about me, it's more about the whole. And the other side is the Western thought, where it's all about the individual, self-worth, what makes me happy, and how am I contributing to society as a sole human being.
We grew up with Confucianism. Even if we're Christian, it's deeply rooted in our culture.
Yeah.
And Confucianism is just blindly listening to the person above you and being a good, obedient servant.
A good example of this is when you're 18 years old in a Western world, you're kicked out, you fend for yourself, and you learn how to have and be an adult. Where in Asian immigrant households, you are with them, with your family until you are 40 years old. And hell, even your spouse might live with your parents. And it's all about how do we take care of each other together. The next challenge is a lot of Asian kids growing up have conditional love. In other words, you have to do and act a certain way or I won't show you affection or survival.
Lived with. And any type of thing that I would ever bring up either came with judgment or conditions.
Where in the Western world, it's something along the lines of having unconditional love, where I will love you no matter what. No matter if you're low, you're high, whatever is going through your life, I will support you and be there for you. That is unconditional love. Because I remember as a kid, if I didn't, do X, then I would get punished. And as a kid growing up, for you to get your parents' approval, that was survival.
Is the capacity, as I said earlier, to know what we feel, to be in touch with our bodies, and to be able to express who we are and manifest who we are.
The next point when it comes to growing up in Asian households is conflict resolution and the lack of emotional intelligence.
Do something, whack, just with a stick. Ah, what the fuck? And then it's like...
She just had sticks readily available?
Yeah, tell me what you did wrong. I don't even know. So I have to guess. If I guess wrong, I get hit wrong.
The good old example of that is when something is wrong or you get punished, there's punishments for that. Where in the Western world, you're explained to yourself why I did something wrong, and they would never, ever lay their hands on you.
You do the thing where you had to hold the chair over your head?
Yeah, no, we did books.
You would get punished, and, tomorrow your mom or dad would be like, hey, dinner's ready. And you're like, yesterday you tormented me, and today everything's fine.
I'm authentic. My parents will reject me. If I feel what I feel and express what I feel and insist on my own truth, my parents can't handle it.
You had all these emotions of anger, of resentment, of like, why are they treating me like this? I can't express myself. So you learn to repress everything inside here. And tomorrow it's fine. Even though outside it's fine, you still have those emotions. Where do they go? They get trapped in here. And it's only now as an adult that I'm learning to realize that, hey, it's okay to express how I feel to someone. It's okay to have emotions and realizing that, hey, I can put names to these emotions. For the longest times, like I had a feeling, but I couldn't realize that, wait, that's an emotion that I'm feeling, right? It's okay to feel and be an adult. The next challenge is that Asian kids of immigrant parents, we are not individuals, right? It goes back to collectivism. We are products. We are property of our parents, which is why growing up, we were so terrified of their opinions because we would get punished. Here's an example. You dye your hair when you're 13, 14 years old. You get a piercing. You want to get a tattoo. And then you do it, and then your mom cries.
Người ta không có dám nói ra sự thật, tại vì chỉ có cha mẹ mới nói ra sự thật thôi, người ngoài không.
And this is the definition of gaslighting. You do something for you that you want, and then your parents, especially Vietnamese, they question, hey, do you really want to do that? Why are you doing that? So you grow up your entire life worrying about what other people think instead of loving yourself and doing what you want to do. And then you feel bad because, hey, I did something for me that made me happy at that time and I want to express myself, but my parents disapprove of it. So, growing up as a kid, there's a sense of gaslighting where it's like, I know what I want, I know who I am at this time, but your parents are constantly questioning, are you sure you want that? Why are you like that? When we see ourselves with pink hair, with piercings, whatever, it's not so much they disapprove of it. In their head, it's like, what are my friends, my family, my relatives is going to be thinking about my child? So it's their reputation based off your choices. So you realize that, hey, I can't necessarily make choices for myself because it's going to affect the way my parents think about me and how they're going to impose their own emotions and thoughts onto me.
I can never talk to my mom in a very conversational way. I think that probably really destroys rapport, you know? Like,
What was it like?
Like I'll be like, man, school's really hard today. She's like, you talk to your mom like that? I'm not your friend. First address me, mother.
You're like, Peter, you're a 30-year-old man now. You're talking about this. It happened 15, 20 years ago. What's the big deal? During those times as a child, those are pivotal moments to figure out and foster who it is you are as an individual. Your identity, your coping mechanisms, your confidence, your self-worth, being able to make decisions and back them up 100% with you. Because of constant gaslighting you had as a kid, the lack of self-worth that was never instilled in you, you move and create decisions based on your past behaviors that you've learned as a kid that were survival mechanisms. I know people that are well into their 30s and 40s where their parents, to the extreme, have chosen their career for them, where they live, and their partner.
Time because he controlled what their career paths were.
Yeah.
So like my oldest cousin, I mean, she had to do occupational therapy, like something in the medical field. They all had to do medical field shit.
One of my biggest challenges of growing up in the way that I did is that I am relearning how to have my own sense of self-worth and to believe in myself, right? To have the ability to say what I say and be confident, the utmost Peter that I can be on camera, because for so long, I know what I want in life. I know who I am. I know that I am a confident person, but for so long, I just keep shoving him away. Because when you grow up in a childhood environment where you were shunned for who you want to be, that sense of you is still there, but he's in the corner being like, what's going on? Are we still here? Well, one is to not shame or blame our parents, right? But to understand that they have seen things that we will never see in our lifetime.
Thing.
It's so fucking
It's a cyclical
crazy.
thing, yeah. Because my parents had it worse when they grew up.
Oh.
Way fucking worse. You know what I mean? I could tell you fucking crazy stories that they told me, but it's like, you know, but here's the thing, Theo. I literally still wouldn't change it for the world.
That type of things that we will never go through, right? So it's coming from their parents, and their parents taught their parents. But the whole name of this channel was Broke the Habit, that you are watching this in the day of the internet where you have the free autonomy and all this liberty to be whoever it is that you decide to be. And I know this topic was a heavy topic to go into. There's so many ways to talk about this, but this was just the surface level of what the difference was and how Asian parents can essentially take over your life, ruin your life, and you'll constantly feel lost because you don't know who you are, because it's based on the two principles of not knowing who you are, collectivism, and individualistic thoughts and philosophies. That's all I'm gonna go talk about now, because I ain't gonna cry, because this can get hella deep. This can get hella deep, my guy. But whoever's watching this, promise me that you yourself will live a life that you decide. Not based on your parents, other people's opinions, but based on your decisions and what you want. My name is Peter. You're watching Broke the Habit. Follow me on Instagram at BTHPeter. And I'll see y'all in the next one.